And welcome back to the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans because, well, let's be honest, we believe that we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And I'm Noel.
And 40 is not with us today. He's got a job interview coming up, so good luck to 40. And to everyone who celebrates, Merry belated Christmas. And also happy belated Hanukkah to those who celebrate too. And Kwanzaa and any holiday. Happy holidays, everybody. It is that wonderful, perfect week of the year where there's not much going on between Christmas and New Year's. Everyone is tired and just wants to get it over with. And there's college football on every day. So at least you have something you can watch at work. But yeah, we got an exciting episode today. You probably saw the title. We're definitely going to be talking a lot about a certain team in Baltimore that put up a statement win on Monday night. No, it's just losing it. As usual, because I know that some of the people who watch the show watch it for the baseball segment, we are going to talk very briefly about baseball because there was a big international signing. Yoshi Yamamoto, who we have been hyping up for weeks now, trying to see where he was going to end up going, signed with the Dodgers.
Do they have unlimited money?
There is no salary cap in Major League Baseball.
That's right. I forgot about that. Wow.
And it is really stupid. So
wow.
The best thing I'm going to say is congratulations, Dodgers. You got one of the best pitching prospects probably in recent history. I'm as a Yankees fan, I'm still salty we didn't get him. I'm even more salty than one of my favorite players. So the Yankees just left in free agency today. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa left and joined the Blue Jays. I loved IKF, but what are you going to do? Yeah. That's pretty much all I had to say on baseball. I'm still super salty. If anybody follows me on Twitter, you probably saw the night that Yoshi got traded. You probably saw me tweet, fuck, because.
So are the Dodgers just going to win it all next year, though? Like, how much does this change? Does the signing actually change for them?
Well, it does give the Dodgers another. It makes them scary, obviously, and they already were scary to begin with because now their starting rotation is going to be Clayton Kershaw, Yoshi Yamamoto, and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
so,
that's pretty good. Like, that's pretty good.
That's really fucking good. But the Dodgers have a really bad habit ever since winning that World Series in 2020 of putting together incredible regular seasons and then just choking, like terribly choking in the postseason. So we won't know until October comes around. I personally am rooting for their downfall. I do want to say this to all the Philly fans who are watching. If you seriously thought he was considering the Phillies, and I said the same thing to Kylie because I know she's watching, you are delusional. And I know I'm about to get attacked by Philly sports fans for that one. Bring it on.
They were in the mix for it, weren't they?
Kind of. Their name got tossed up a couple of. From what I understood, their name got tossed up a couple of times, but there wasn't any visit. Like Yamamoto didn't visit the Phillies, from what I know, and I could be wrong. And if anybody's watching this who's a Phillies fan and knows more about it, because I don't really pay attention to the Phillies, I just noticed your dog in the background. Hey, what's up, Moltek?
She's joining us.
Yeah, that's Moltek, everybody.
It's not her name.
Oh, crap. Teva.
That's not her name either.
Why am I getting the names wrong?
If you try.
I try. Oranges.
Her name is Oranges.
Oranges is a very sweet girl.
Very sweet Ravens fan. That's right. That's
yes.
What you're going to say. That's absolutely correct. You are. I get distracted. It's very cute.
It's all good. So yeah, he was his name got tossed up for the Phillies, but I don't think there was a major effort. And if you're a Philly fan watching, comment and let me know if I'm wrong because I don't pay attention to the Phillies as much. That's more Kylie's thing, and well, Kylie's not on the podcast anymore. Although she might be coming back for a special 100th episode appearance. Just keep your eyes peeled for that. If I remember, it was down to the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees for Yamamoto. And everyone thought he was going to be the Yankees because he visited there multiple times and then hit that bombshell. It was like, oh, yeah, no, I choose the Dodgers, which it is what it is. We're going to get more into baseball once the season actually starts. Again, the goal for this season is to get Gnome to turn into a baseball fan, and we will. So, yeah. With that being said, Let's move over to basketball real quick. The main focus of today's episode is going to be on the NFL, but the NBA, we do need to talk about this real quick. You may have seen the description of this video. So Noam, what's the record for most consecutive losses by any NBA team ever?
It's 27, I think.
The 2015 16 Philly 76ers. Guess what the Detroit Pistons did last night?
They broke it.
28 consecutive losses.
28 now. That's
It actually
right.
might be 27.
I think it's 28 now. I think it's
Okay.
28 now. I think it was 27.
Yeah.
And they broke it.
Hey, Mike, what's going on? Shout out to Mike and Fired Up Sports. Always a pleasure to see you in the comments there, buddy. Yeah, so the Detroit Pistons, after starting the season 2-1, have lost, I believe, 28 straight games. And
this is an organization in free fall.
yeah, it's not even that they're tanking, because we've seen bad teams tank before. But even, like with teams that are tanking, that you can tell, that they've still got some guys on that team who, want to win, who are actually, trying to change the culture. You could tell, like, yeah, they're good, they're bad, but there's a reason for it. Like when the Sixers were going through the process, it was like, oh, they're terrible.
Yeah.
But we understand why.
Just taking a 10-year process. Yeah.
Yeah. This Pistons team is just terrible. The one good team player they've got on that team is Cade Cunningham. And I feel so bad for him because you go into a city expected to be the X factor that's going to change this team, that's going to help this team rise out of the ashes. The Pistons have been in the garbage dump for a long time now. But as we've seen, it's only gotten worse. The NBA has been around for 78 years, and no team has ever put together this many consecutive losses. And this is in a season where the Spurs and their franchise-changing icon Victor Wembanyama are currently like 3-25, and yet there's still a team that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, first of all, on the Spurs defense, in their defense, Wemby's he's a very, very young player. And this organization still needs to kind of figure out how to work around him. For the Pistons, I don't think there was a lot of expectation that they were going to be good. They're just they're not even meeting the bar that was set for them. I think I don't think expectations were overly high for them, but there was a little bit of excitement revolving Cade.
The general expectation for what I saw going into the season was that they were going to be average. Maybe could pull out a couple of wins, and when they started 2-1, everyone thought, okay, maybe they've started to finally develop a little bit. That's not what's happened at all.
No.
It's the exact opposite. They're bad. I have never seen a team this bad.
No, neither have I. They've dropped 28 straight. That's the record.
I might start watching their games just to see if they actually like break their losing streak. Because the second they do, they're going to celebrate like they won the finals.
Yeah, that's what usually happens.
It's crazy. We'll get more into basketball.
How long do you think this streak is going to go for, though? What's the upcoming schedule look like?
Let me pull up their schedule. I have a theory that because it can't go on forever. There's too many games in the NBA season for them to lose all of them. They could come close, though. We've seen teams come close.
2-80?
No, they're not doing that.
I'm just kidding. There's no way.
I don't know. That the Bobcats one year almost did. That was a strike year. So they got the best team in the league. They got the Celtics next.
So we're going to 29.
Okay, definitely 29. They got the Celtics. Let me actually pull them up specifically. I was looking at the league schedule. By the way, we will be getting more into basketball once the football season wraps up, guys. We kind of transition between the big three sports. We need to talk about hockey more, but it's kind of I don't think any of us are super big hockey fans, but we can work on that definitely because we need to get back into hockey. I had a brief phase where I got really into it, but last year last year I got more into baseball, and hockey kind of got left off. And I feel bad because the NHL is a whole lot of fun, and I'm checking the standings this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch, but also the Lightning have been doing great this year, so that is also kind of kept it off. So the next two games, the Pistons have got the Celtics. That's a loss. The Raptors, who are struggling, maybe, probably a loss though. It is Toronto.
30.
Next up is the Rockets, who are young and good-ish. Hold on a second. Mike says Lightning finally don't win a cup and now you bounce. That is incorrect, good sir. Well, it's partially correct. It is partially correct.
It's
yes.
partially correct.
The Lightning. Look. Here's what happened. The Maple Leafs won a 7-game series. And because the Maple Leafs won a 7-game series, I'm required to stop watching hockey. No, I need to. It's more just a scheduling thing. It's like I really want to get back into hockey, but football's been really good this year and baseball's been good. I know it sounds like excuses. It probably is excuses. So we'll get back into it. But where's the hate for this dude? This dude doesn't even watch hockey. Go after him.
After they might.
Well, anyway, we got Rockets. They're probably losing that. Then the Jazz probably losing that too. Then the Warriors definitely losing that. Honestly,
what's that? 34, 33? It's 33, right?
It's gonna go probably to 35 because after that they've got the Nuggets and the Kings, who are both great. Honestly, it might not be until January 10th they play the 4-25 Spurs. That might be where the streak ends.
I bet the Spurs win that.
After that, I don't know. Well, after it's either that or the January 15th game against the 5-24 Wizards.
We will see. Well, they might not be 5-24 then. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Silly. It'll be interesting to follow for sure.
I'm definitely going to start
on how long the Pistons can keep up this incredible losing streak they've been on.
With that being said, let's get into the big topic of the day: football. This week was crazy. There was so much that happened. Question is where to start. I guess we start from the beginning. Thursday night, the Rams get off to a great start, hold off a comeback attempt against that team from New Orleans, and Angeles has a playoff berth. It's in a playoff position right now.
A well-deserved playoff berth. They've really, since getting Stafford back, they've looked like an entirely different team, and they've just been on a roll. And this is like another notch in the belt. They well-deserved playoff berth. They are definitely one of the better teams in the league, and it definitely didn't look like that from how the season started. But they've earned every step of the way. I think Stafford, if he hadn't missed enough time, would definitely be in the conversation for MVP. Actually,
really,
I think he'd be in the conversation.
Maybe he's been playing really good.
By Kylie that Flacco right now is fourth in MVP voting, and if that's the case, there's no reason Stafford should not be in it. No.
Stafford had a great game though. 24 of 34, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. I will say, by the way, happy Saints week, everyone. It's time to get toxic.
He's only happy when they lose.
Oh yeah. They got off to New Orleans, they went from being leading their division to now let's be honest. If the Saints won the division, it's not going to be fun because it's just going to be Derek Carr's inconsistent ass getting blown out by Dallas and Philly.
They could still win it.
No, they can't.
They can't?
No, they can't. Well, they can, but let's not talk about that. We all know what's going to happen.
We
all know what's going to happen.
The Bucks are winning it for sure, but
yeah. The Bucks have been on fire recently. We'll get to the Bucks when we talk about them. But they've been one of the best teams in the league over the last month, which is really weird because they were so shit the first half of the season.
Baker's turning on. Yeah.
No. Here's my question for you. If the Rams make the playoffs, because they haven't locked up a playoff spot yet, but they probably will with how terrible the NFC is.
Yeah, for sure they will.
Are they getting past the first round?
Yes, depending on who they play. They would definitely be. Who's the best team in the league right now? Don't be shy.
Baltimore.
Who is it? That's right. And the Rams gave them a fight. A fight unlike any other these winning teams. Baltimore's been on a run facing strictly winning teams lately, and they've been destroying all of them except for the Rams, that was the game I was at, except for Cleveland, which they did lose to. Yes, I remember. I
have to bring that up. Sorry.
Look. At the end of the day, the Rams are the one who gave them the fight. I was at the game. It was a tense game. Are we going to pretend the Rams are not? Yeah, their record isn't quite as good, but are we going to pretend this team could not, compete with the Cowboys who struggle against good teams, or the Eagles who have been in free fall lately? I mean, they caught themselves this week, of course, but we'll get to that later. But regardless, I mean, yeah, they could get this. It depends on who they go against. They go against San Francisco, that's probably a loss.
Yeah, I think right now they would probably face Detroit, which would be, oh boy. I mean, think about it like this: Matt Stafford returns to Detroit. that would be a hell of a story.
I'm taking the Rams. I don't know.
I think the Rams. Yeah, well, the problem is
the Lions too.
See, the Rams are one of my favorite teams. Not if I had to pick any team other than the Bucks or the Chiefs to root for, and to be honest, the Chiefs have been disappointing me so much lately that it's really more we're on the Tampa
Talk
Bay
about
train
free
here.
fall, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. If there's one team I root for outside, it's probably the Rams because their history is just so fascinating. You know, they've jumped around the country so much. They've had so many incredible players come through. They're one of those teams that just like I'm always fascinated by them.
Yeah,
They're
they're
right
a
up there
real
with
good team.
the Vikings and the Vikings and the Ravens. It's just teams that really fascinate me. Maybe it's because they have like unconventional color schemes or something, or they
I
have cool
know what you
uniforms.
mean. They're a feel good story. I like them too.
Yeah, I will say though, for the other team, that team from New Orleans, it's time for fun fact number one for Bucs Saints week. Did you know that the Buccaneers won their first ever game against the New Orleans Saints after Saints quarterback Archie Manning said in the papers it would be a disgrace to lose to a team that's gone 0-26? Head coach John McKay printed that out, plastered it all over the locker room, and said, "You really going to let this little twink do that to you? Go out there and kick his ass." And we did, and they didn't like it, and we got Hank Stram fired. It's great.
Wow.
I'm gonna just so everyone knows, I'm
And
gonna
you've
bring
never
these up.
looked back. Just a history of great success for the Bucks, you know.
Yeah, fantastic success, except
Yes.
ignoring that period between 83 and 96 and that
Oh, I
period
was being completely
between
impressed. You have one period of winning. That's it. I was completely being sarcastic with
we
that.
have like 3 periods of winning. That's it.
No, no. But you have one. Well, okay. You have two eras of winning. All right.
Late
One
eight
where you won in 2002, and then the Brady era.
we're just gonna ignore like the late 70s, early 80s teams that were
That didn't win any Super Bowls
okay, but they went from the worst team in the league to one of the best teams in the league overnight.
overnight. I
And
mean,
it
yeah,
got
I
bad
guess so.
again because our owner was a piece of shit. That's a whole I could do a whole 2-hour episode by myself about the Bucks and the shit we went through in the 80s.
Maybe we will.
It may be. We could do one about how the Ravens have never had a bad period in their history. They had 1 or 2 bad seasons, that's it.
Yes.
Anyway, let's talk about some of the Ravens rivals, starting with so the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know how confidently I took this game for the Bengals last week? I was like, "There's no way they're going to keep beating them by 35." I was so wrong on so many things this week. This is
You
one. They
were.
got fucking murdered.
You
Yeah,
were. So the
chilled.
Steelers, Mason Rudolph, in his first starts in like several years, 17 of 27, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, the most passing yards by a Steelers quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger 2 years ago. As we watch Oranges readjust herself there. The big star, though, George Pickens had his Randy Moss on Thanksgiving game. 4 receptions, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. You see what happens, Steelers, when you get the ball to your playmakers?
But you still can't block though. Apparently,
All right, well, there is a
I'll
little bit
find any
there.
reason. I'm sorry. The
Listen,
Steelers. This was a very impressive win for the Steelers. In all honesty, this was a very. I wouldn't say it's a statement win. They beat a Bengals team where Jake Browning has kind of lost his mojo, and they don't have a starting quarterback, and their offensive line is terrible. But I still expected the Bengals to win. I expected Jake Browning to his confidence just kind of come through with it, but
his
they
Linsanity
got
run
murdered.
feels like it came over. He threw 3 picks in this game. It
Yeah,
just
for sure. And I mean, the Steelers defense has been good lately. You know,
it
they've been up
just
there. TJ.
and the thing about it that really interests me is that this loss does more. I mean, this Steelers win doesn't really affect their playoff standings yet. They don't have tiebreakers against most of the teams ahead of them. They still probably won't make the playoffs. It
I hope
does
not.
push them. It does push them one game closer to finishing 500 or with a record over 500. Um, to keep
I
my
know. I want
dominant
that
streak
streak to
alive.
come to an end. I
I
want that
do
to come to
too.
an
I
end.
want it
I want
to.
it to be over.
You guys know that you probably are going to be the team that ends it, right?
I hope so.
I hope so
I
too.
hope so.
But this loss like crushes the Bengals' playoff hopes. It doesn't do anything for Pittsburgh. I
Yeah.
see. I can honestly see. I don't think either of these teams really recover from this. I don't think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs to begin with because the AFC is so stacked, and these next 2
Correct.
weeks are going to be crazy for playoff positioning. But I do think that this will crush Cincinnati's playoff hopes. They do have the Chiefs this week, and with the way the Chiefs have been playing, it's entirely possible that they could go on a magical run. But
Both teams 8-7 in the AFC. I don't know.
yeah, there's just too many good teams in the AFC. I'll say this much: it is nice to see the Steelers have a game where their offense actually does something. Watching Steelers highlights of Steelers games for the last couple of years has been absolute torture. Even after they
It's
fired
been
Matt Canada,
wonderful. What are you talking about? It's been great.
you are
They've been
such a
so
salty
bad.
fan. Yeah, I know, but it's like it's bad football. It's just watching a Matt Canada coach team,
Yeah,
a
it
Matt
has been
Canada,
bad football, hasn't it?
a Matt Canada offense. Watching it is just, oh, it's just hell. But it is nice to see that they actually managed to get something good going on offense for once, and I'm happy for them. Um,
Yeah,
the the
against
the
an okay Bengals defense, I guess.
now the other game on Saturday, Bills Chargers. This one was just hilarious. So, um, this I think it wasn't a statement win, but it was probably the
A
biggest win of the year for the Bills.
statement win. A
No,
Justin Herbert less Chargers team
no, that's why I
making
said it's not a statement win. It's not. I'm not saying it's a statement win.
24-22.
I would be stupid to say that it's a statement win. I'd say it's probably the most important win of the season because for one, the Bills should never have been in this position to begin with. That Chargers
This is
offense,
a win they needed.
yeah, this was like one of the most crucial wins of their season because Buffalo has been in this like state of I want to say limbo where we're not entirely sure if they're a good team, but we're also not entirely sure if they're a bad team, and they just can't seem to
They're
get
a
that
good team.
consistency.
They're
I,
definitely a good team.
I'd say they're a good team, but every
If
so
this
often they
wasn't
just
the
play like shit.
they would be 11-3 in the NFC right now.
Yeah, probably.
But that being said, it's the Bills this entire year, right? It's been like, what are you guys? Are you guys? We know you're a good team, but you guys are not playing well. So how long can we keep saying you're a good team if you're not playing well? And they go up and down, and they win, and they blow out some teams, and they get annihilated by other teams. And here we go. They beat a team that was 5-9. Now it's 5-10 without their starting quarterback, Justin Herbert, and they win by 2 against who? Easton Stick? Who started the Chargers?
Easton Stick went
Easton
23
Stick.
of. Now I'll give Josh Allen credit. 15 to 21, 237 yards, 1 touchdown. Here we go. Ready? One of these.
I don't know if that one was strictly
I
speaking his
don't
fault.
think it can. Yeah, that one doesn't count. I have a candidate
It
for
was
the
thrown by
Josh
him,
Allen.
though.
I have a candidate for the Josh Allen dumbass
I
interception
have
of the
4
week award.
candidates for it.
You have, oh my god, we're gonna be pumping this out all day. Yeah, he did score 3 total touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm just more annoyed at the fact
Good,
that
not
they
great.
got into this position in the first place because this is a Chargers team that is with an interim head coach, with a backup quarterback who
Correct.
has been eliminated from the playoffs, has nothing to play for, and
They put up a fight.
and they did. And I'll give the Chargers credit. Their defense has been really suspect this year, and coming off a game where they allowed 63 points for them
To the Raiders.
to the Raiders.
Don't forget.
For them to hold and I'll say a solid Buffalo offense, to hold a very good Buffalo offense to just 24 points and force Buffalo to like really, really dig in and clutch this one out. That's impressive for the Chargers. With that being said, it's still the Chargers. They're still one of the worst teams in the league. And for Buffalo to play down to their competition like that, it's concerning.
Yeah, there should be a gap.
But it's still a very important win for the Bills. Like, this win basically gives us the fact, basically clinches at least getting into the playoffs for the Bills. They still got 2 more games to go, and
They could lose it. They are not.
Yeah.
I don't think they officially clinched it.
No, they haven't clinched yet, but this puts them ahead of the other wildcard teams. We know Cleveland is basically going to clinch. It's really just a question of who the other 2 wildcard teams are, and I think this win puts the Bills right into the conversation of
it does.
They, at the very least, will have one of those 2 spots. They could lose it out, and they could lose out and miss, but they could also clinch. It's either or. Every other team, it's like
this depends on.
What?
This depends on Josh Allen and his performance, and we'll see whether he's Sam Howell or Josh Allen.
Yeah,
that's a poke at 40 while he's not here. But
hey, 40. Hey man, if everything goes right, 40 will have a promotion or something at the end of the day. So
yeah, rooting for him for sure.
Yeah,
but his Josh Allen take is still bad. But you know what's interesting? This is kind of going into the intro that you always say in the podcast, how we kind of believe we're a little bit better than certain people talking about it. The official media, the official media, whatever, the mainstream sports media right now will not get off this Bills train. It's really, really, really obnoxious. Everyone loves the Bills. All they will not talk about is Josh Allen the real MVP. Is this going on? That's actually been said. And to be fair, there's something to that. Like, he has been playing really well, and he is in the conversation for MVP. I would say he'd be about my fourth or fifth, probably fifth pick right now.
I'd put him in my sixth pick. I could name like 5 guys who have been better. I mean, my guy I'm picking for MVP is not going to win it because he's a running back, but
no, he's not. Hey, don't come on, man. He's a quarterback.
I'm not talking about Lamar.
You're
talking about Christian McCaffrey. I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey. I am sick and tired of quarterbacks winning MVP. I want to see a position player, and Christian McCaffrey has been having a ridiculous. It's right now. It's C-Mac, Lamar, Tyreek Hill, Dak Prescott. Because let's be honest, he's been putting up insane numbers. Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy, but he's a system quarterback, and I don't think he's getting it after what happened on Monday night.
He just took himself out of it. You see the,
he did.
He took himself out of it completely. He's done.
He did. Brock Purdy and then Josh Allen. I think it's C-Mac because dude's
to be honest, I don't think it should be Dak.
There's a good.
I know Dak has the stats right now, but I just don't see it, man. Like whenever I watch, we'll get into that when we talk about their game this week. But back to the Bills Chargers, the mainstream media will not shut up about how the Bills might be maybe they're the best team in the AFC. I've been hearing that for weeks, and I'm not hearing that this week, obviously, but I'm still hearing is Josh Allen the real MVP? Yada yada yada. Like, what is he the most important person to his team? Yada yada. I don't understand how this is still a conversation. The Bills are a good team that can play great and can beat up on great teams.
Yeah, we saw what they did in Dallas.
Get killed. Yeah, they destroyed Dallas. Yeah, and that was great. And that was a statement when they ran all over them, literally. But
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. The Bills have a couple games left. We'll see. This team could still miss the playoffs. Like, let's just not keep that in mind before we call them the best team in the AFC.
Yeah. So the Bills do have one thing I want to talk about real quick. That this translates into the next game, which we're going to talk about, the Browns-Texans game. So first off, for the Browns-Texans game, if Amari Cooper holy shit. Let me pull this up real quick. 11 receptions.
If you had him in fantasy, you were happy, man.
11 receptions, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Set the Browns franchise record. Joe Flacco, another 300-yard game. He went 27 of 42 for 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. At this point, Joe Flacco, I think, is locked up comeback player of the year. But there's just one. There's just one Buffalo-sized issue about that. Damar Hamlin. The big question is who gets comeback player of the year? Damar Hamlin.
He did almost die and is playing football, so.
But I'll say this, and while it is incredible that Damar Hamlin is back, he's been on special teams. The few defensive snaps he's gotten, he's not really. And this is nothing against Damar Hamlin. I want to make that clear because I know somebody's going to probably see this and be like, "Oh my God, the guy from Beer Battered Sports said Damar Hamlin doesn't deserve comeback player of the year because he's a bad player." It's like, no, Damar Hamlin is actually a very solid player.
He's all right.
He's just been better on special teams this year.
That's because he's an all right player.
Yeah, well, the few times he's been actually on the field on defense this year, he's had 2 penalties, and that's about it. That's all I'm going to say on that. I think that Joe Flacco deserves it way more because dude had to learn a completely new offense, came off of his parents' couch, and right now is playing arguably the best football he's played since that 2012 Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I'd say handily.
Yeah. And this game in particular was impressive because this Texans team, I know they were without CJ Stroud, but Davis Mills, and they had to start Davis Mills. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
But this is
he did better than Keenum did. Keenum, I think, deserves for Josh Allen dumbest interceptions of weeks. Some of those should not have been done. Is that a gallon of water?
Yeah, a friend of mine left 2 gallons of water here, so that's been what I've drank. Hey, Nigel, if you're watching,
I know who left. I know exactly who left. The second I saw him, was like, Nigel.
Shout out our buddy Nigel, who came who crashed at my apartment one night and completely forgot that he left his water here. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking from.
I swear to God.
I actually had a question. Out of anybody who in our collective friend groups would you trust the least to take to a sporting event that you know is going to get in trouble or you know is going to cause some shit?
I mean, I hate I hate to bring her name into this, but it's probably Kylie.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, and those of you who have watched the podcast already, are probably familiar with her. She's great, but there are sometimes I worry. Sometimes I worry about. I mean, all it takes is the Eagles fumbling something, and then someone's whatever's kind of in her hand is getting launched. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's just like
Jalen Hurts
if she's holding her phone, not good for her. If she's holding like a brick, not good for someone else.
Jalen Hurts fumbles and Kylie suddenly decides at work no one's allowed to watch TV. That's how it works. Yeah,
Done.
There you go. Shout out the Browns though. Back to the topic. Browns can actually,
right?
Yeah, they can clinch a playoff berth with a win this weekend.
Oof. I think Joe Flacco does deserve comeback player of the year. Jamar Hamlin, it's not the same. Man, maybe this is some kind of. You think this is kind of like oh man, I would call quarterback bias maybe because remember Alex Smith? It's kind of the same thing. Like he got injured horrifically, then he came back on the field but he started games and he didn't play well, but he started games after going through that. The next season, of course, all he had to do was get on the field to win. That's what everyone said. Here, DeMar Hamlin is having suffered an even worse injury and has gotten back on the field, and that's all he's done. He hasn't played well at all. He's a special teamer who's used in a very limited role, but he has gotten back on the field after suffering a horrific injury. Joe Flacco, I don't know. I'm still kind of leaning Joe Flacco on it because I'm a little biased, obviously, but just seeing what he's coming back from.
We couldn't tell you're a little biased.
You see this right here? Not this right here. See this?
I see that. I see what the dogs are snuggling with.
Do you see what that is right next to the jersey? Right there, the little container.
Is that a Lamar Jackson Funko Pop?
Yes, that's Pop Lamar Jackson.
Why do you have
Someone gave me it's a long story that I will get into at a later date.
Who gave you that?
Somebody did. I won't speak his name, but someone gave me this and it was suggested to me that I put it on the camera podcast, and I was, I almost threw hands immediately, obviously, upon hearing that. But then, I thought about it. I was just like, if there's a week to do it, it's this week. So he stays in his box where he belongs, Pop Lamar Jackson, but he gets to be on camera behind my amazing dog.
Fair enough.
There's a story there. I hope he's watching now. I hope he's watching right now. He knows who he is.
Oh man, I can't wait to find out who it is off camera. That's funny. Let me rapid fire some of the early games. We'll give our thoughts. So the Jets build a 27-7 lead over the Commies, blow said lead, and then win on a game-winning field goal.
Wait. Sorry, you go ahead. I do have something to say for this game, but go ahead first.
I'll say this much: Jets offense looked great this game. Commies looked laughable, and yes,
but Commies came back and did put up a fight. Trevor Siemian did okay. Jacoby Brissett can move the ball decently. Man, I don't know. Howell's injured, right? He's not a healthy scratch, is he?
I don't know for certain. There was news today that Howell has been benched and Brissett is probably going to start this week's game against the 40.
To winning the starting job then, personally.
Jacoby Brissett is a weird case, though, because when he gets a chance to start, he's not a good starter, but he is an amazing backup. If he goes in off the bench, dude is just flawless.
That's the thing. He backs up quarterbacks as if he should be starting, but then when he's starting, he can't really lead an offense overly well. But
he's like a career backup.
He's really good though. He's one of the better. I fully believe he could be starting on other teams, but then when he does, he's not good. I don't know. That being said, the Jets hung on to win. The Commanders, I feel like the last couple weeks have looked better. They've been putting up more of a fight than we would expect, given 40's take about them. For a team with no serious players and no discipline, playing for nothing, they've lost every game in the last couple weeks. Don't get me wrong, but they put up a fight against the Rams a little bit, and they fought the Jets pretty closely here. I mean, the Jets are not amazing, but they're a much better team.
The Jets, I'll say Jets fans were not pleased with this win because that has hurt their. Sorry, I just got a message from somebody. I got a message from somebody on Discord. We're gonna ignore that. No, so it's The
Jets fans aren't happy
Jets
because
fans aren't, because they it's my favorite time of the year when a team gets eliminated from the playoffs and the fan base immediately goes, all right, lose all the games. If you win, we're not supporting you anymore. If you dare win, fuck you. You have to lose
yeah,
to get top draft pick. The only draft picks that matter are the top 5. I swear to God, and I hate that. So the
me
Bucks
too.
did
It's
this
a
one
really
year.
stupid mindset,
The
really
Bucks
dumb
did this
mindset. You
one
should
year.
never. I don't think you should ever really tank.
The Bucks did this one year where we were fighting. We were like 4-11. Yeah, we were 4-11, final game of the season. We're playing that team from New Orleans, and we win because Jameis hits Chris Godwin on a last-second touchdown. It was amazing. One of the best Bucks games I've ever watched. And the fans were furious. They're like, why did you do that? Now we lost out on a top pick. We're going to suck forever. It's like, and I hate this mindset so much. There are good. How many times in NFL history has a fantastic player come from like the second or third round or the latter half of the first round? It's
So
almost,
many.
it's
You
almost
don't.
like the top 5 picks aren't the end all of the NFL draft. You
They're not
dumb
even. No. Yeah,
rednecks.
they're not. They're not. They're not. But that being said, I hate this mindset to begin with. Keep in mind, there are players, coaches, everyone there is playing to win games, and they are
Yeah,
playing for more than just the team's future draft stock. There's more to play for than that. All these fans need to understand that. Some take the Raiders. They could be playing for their interim head coach, who as I believe should take over starting next year, Tony Pierce. I think that's just an example that there's more to play for. A lot of players have contract incentives to play for and everything. Like they have reasons to go out there and win. They always do. They always should have a reason to go out there, and that's why the news of what 40 said earlier in the year, it shocked me so much when he said that there's just no one serious in that locker room. He said he had a source on that. I was like, really? It's just shocking to hear that. And that's the reason. So like Jets fans, chill the fuck out, calm down. You guys should always go for the win, especially if you're the Jets. You want to build your talents. You don't want to see them stagnant so you can get a new rookie to come in here and then be bad. Also, you're the Jets. You should know that by now.
yeah.
How many times do you have good players, good draft picks come in there and be terrible? Come on.
I'll say this:
Yeah, James
The
Morgan
Jets
out
aren't
of
even
SMU.
the Jets aren't even like terrible this year. Their defense is really, really good. The problem is that they just don't have a quarterback, and their quarterback got hurt in week 1, and the backups have been horrible. They honestly are better than 6
Okay.
wins. They're better than
Yeah,
6
their
wins.
defense is incredible, right? Like defense
Their
is absolutely incredible.
their defense has kept them in games all season long. It's
Quinnen
genuinely
Williams,
amazing.
phenomenal. The Williams brothers, honestly, are both playing really well, but Quinnen is the star of that. And I heard this last bit of news following Rodgers. I heard that Rodgers didn't. It was not his choice to be activated. He wouldn't have
Really.
playing. He wouldn't have minded staying on IR for the remainder of the year. I even read a report that when he was activated, it moved like a third string linebacker to the practice squad. Rodgers even called him specifically to let him know, hey man, this just so you know, because I don't know what the media's going to say about this. This is not me. I was fine chilling on IR and getting healthy. I didn't want to do this because he got cut to the practice squad.
Yeah.
But apparently the guy was cool. He's like, hey man, I'm getting paid. It's all right.
Yeah.
I can tell you my source on this actually because I believe it's ESPN though. Like,
Remember, we always have to check our sources now. Especially.
Yes. In the meantime, though,
In the meantime, he checks that source. Nothing really important happened in these 2 games, so I'll just. But I both should shout them out because they did have some importance of playoff strategy. Seahawks beat the Titans with a last-second touchdown. Seattle's been playing really good football. I expect them to squeak in as the 7th seed once again for the NFC, which is wild considering that they were so bipolar for the first half of the year. So I'm glad to see the Seahawks kind of sneaking back in there. Meanwhile, Colts Falcons. Remember last week when I said, this is a match between 2 teams fighting for a playoff spot, and remember how you laughed and said the Falcons fighting for a playoff spot? Boom, bitch! Falcons blew out the Colts. Are right back into it in the fight. I hate it as a Bucs fan, but I love it as a podcast host.
Yeah. This is one of those things I was saying where I was just like, wow, I was horrifically wrong. Woohoo! Yeah, that was me. I was fucking horrifically wrong. What the fuck, Colts?
Yeah, Indy, you have a chance not only to win this game, but take over first place in the AFC South. You don't do that. It's now a three-way tie for first place because Jacksonville is falling apart. Like, we need to start talking about how everyone's been talking about how the NFC South has been this year's like worst division. Can we talk about how shitty the AFC South has been?
AFC South bad too, for sure.
Yeah,
But
NFC South is still worse, but
they are. Yeah, these are the worst divisions. That being said, I can't tell you that when you just said from a Nigel joke. I can't. All right. Let me at least explain myself in regards to the Colts Panthers. Okay. The Colts had reason to they tricked me. They deceived me, Isaac. All right. Like that's what happened. They deceived me. They were basically doing a thing where they were showing that they had a good enough team that had a solid system in there. Gardner Minshew was playing already. He was being like, hey, I'm actually a pretty good backup and everything. They run a solid offense that's coached decently and everything. They were showing what this is excitement for next year. This is what I'm talking about, why it's always important to win. They lost their quarterback, starting quarterback, like week 5, something like that. He's out for the year. And okay, yeah, imagine if they had just tanked and just every player sucked. Then you would think going into the season, they need an entirely new clean house, especially because you're not entirely sure what you get out of Anthony Richardson. Okay.
Yeah.
But instead, they played phenomenally lately. From following that. They were playing phenomenally. The last couple of weeks has been meh, but it's been enough to make you think, okay, wow, this team going into next year is going to be amazing when they get Richardson back because everyone else is clicking. That's showing that you have something to put. So you have a system to put your quarterback into so that you can operate well. It looked like they were going to just make the playoffs as a wild card team, and obviously they probably would have been balanced. I mean, it's the AFC, goodness sakes, but it looked like they were going to get in here. And if you make the playoffs with your back quarterback, imagine when you actually get Richardson going. Because remember, Richardson impressed us. We thought project, and he showed prospect. Okay, now you get blown out by the Falcons, who, to me, looked like the opposite. They looked like they were in free fall. They couldn't figure it out. Desmond Ridder sucks. He's so bad, and then he just kind of played better for like a 3-week stretch in the middle of the year, and then went back to just playing awful. I mean, he won several Josh Allen dumbass interception of the week awards from us. Okay, Heineke didn't show anything either. This game he did, I guess, but I mean, still, like it didn't look like it. I think the only difference was they actually the Falcons must have heard you, Isaac, and they got the ball into the hands of their playmakers, and they beat Colts, and they beat up on a Colts team that I think was just caught napping. I still think the Colts are better than the Falcons, but this loss is huge for them. This is a crucial loss. That's why I chose the Colts to beat the Falcons. I really thought they did. Instead, they lost by 19 points.
It's amazing. It's like, wow, the Falcons are really good when they give the ball to Bijan Robinson and throw to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Who would have known? It's like Arthur Smith's an idiot. Like this is why I hate these super technical analytical coaches, because they always think, well, I know better. No, dude, just be a Dan Campbell. In a world of Arthur Smiths, be a Dan Campbell.
72 yards for Bijan. Kyle Pitts, touchdown, 50 yards, almost just short of 50 yards, 3 receptions for him and London both, 4 receptions for Johnny Smith.
They're still not doing it. They're still not doing it, but they're doing it better.
It's more. Your favorite player on your team, Mr. Tyler Algier, whatever his name is.
Tyler Algier.
Algier, thank you. I'm sorry, I butchered
Algier.
That.
He's helping me out.
Yards.
Hey, Tyler Algier has been helping me out with fantasy this year. Speaking of fantasy, Christian Franco, top seed in the Fired Up Sports podcast. You're going down, buddy. Never trust the power of a 7th seed. Beer Batter Sports representative, Bad Refs Inc., 7th seed, first year in the league. We're going for that grand prize. I got the team. I got my boys on my back. My 7th seed finished 7-7. We're coming for you, Franco.
Rooting for them. You're rooting for you. We're all fired up by storm.
Beer Batter Sports is about
for the Falcons Colts, man. Like that's my take.
So the other 2 early games.
Oh God, I got all guys again.
Hey, Packers. That defense. Packers, your defense is so trash. This was low-key the best game of the week because the Panthers showed what they could actually do. Again, and to be fair, they are playing a shitty ass defense of the Packers, but they proved that they can play well, and they did play well. They did lose because at the end of the day, it's still the Panthers. Then they basically locked up the number 1 pick in the draft for the Bears, which good job, Bears. You did it by doing nothing. But
okay, man.
Didn't you pick the Panthers for this one?
No. Did I? I don't think I did. I think I picked the Packers. The Packers. There's no reason to believe in the Panthers, but
Yeah.
I did. I think I talked about last. Man, sorry, we got to do clips. I think with what I talked about was the Packers' horrible defensive coordinator and how bad he is. And don't do it.
No, I'll stop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
It's all right.
No, go ahead. No,
But no, what I was talking about is the Joe Barry,
Mhm.
Packers DC, last defensive coordinator who's still in the league from the Fangio system of, oh, we figured out how to stop Patrick Mahomes in one game, and then he figured it after, and then it took over the league. This like 3-3-5 split safety system where
Ugh.
it's just you get yourself so open to big play. Sorry, you're supposed to contain the big plays and just like the 50-yard throws, and then you're susceptible to everything else. It just doesn't. It doesn't really work. Like it's just it doesn't work anymore. Like people have kind of figured it out at this point.
What
Joe
happened
Barry
to
has
my
not
nice?
figured it out. That it's been figured out, and he's still running it. And the Packers' defense is horrible. They have good players, man. Like they solid talent. They just got absolutely just. I mean, the Panthers put up 30 points on the Packers. Is this a? That's not. Is that your tape? Is that your playoff team? NFC North? No.
No, I mean this loss may have knocked them out of a playoff spot. Like
It's the NFC. They still got a chance.
unfortunately, they do. The Bears still have a chance too.
7-8.
But, yeah, no, this Packers defense. The last couple of weeks, the Packers have been exposed on the defensive side, they've allowed a total of 64 points over the last 2 games, to 2 NFC South teams. Looking at this Packers team, like I don't. They're probably not making the playoffs at this point.
They don't deserve to make the playoffs. Their
No, they don't.
organization is kind of a mess. For some reason, they're just not able to make good organizational decisions. Brian Gutekunst, I think he's still there. He's still their GM,
Yeah.
right? I'll have to get
And,
that line.
and it's sad because Jordan Love is not having a bad season. It's kind of
No,
giving me flashbacks
having
how
a
the
good
Packers were how the Packers were the first year after Brett Favre left and Aaron Rodgers became the quarterback. It really feels like that.
It does.
It almost feels like, history is repeating itself, that they're finally going to start getting good the next couple of years. And then most likely, we're going to see Aaron Rodgers leave the Jets to go to the Vikings. I can't wait to see Vikings Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be so much fun. Packers.
Okay, that would be funny. I didn't even think of that. Wow, that'd be crazy.
Packers fans are going to be having nightmares. It's like they can't keep getting away with this.
No, but who knows if following that train of thought, maybe George Love will win the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay, that being said, this is another example of why the Packers organization is just a wreck. Okay. Who is their best corner on the Packers?
I could not tell you.
It's Jaire Alexander by a long shot. He's one of the best corners in the league, right? Okay. So this comes from an analyst by the name of Marcus Whitman. So that's my source on this. He says the Packers just suspended Jaire Alexander 1 week for violating a team policy regarding a coin toss. Now, they did that the week. Remember, who are they playing this week?
The Vikings, right?
At Justin Jefferson. You might need your number 1 corner, who's one of the best in the league, to match up with Justin Jefferson. And yet they're just like, nah. Keep in mind, they have almost no one else.
Why did they suspend? What was the coin toss thing that got him suspended?
He violated the team policy regarding coin toss, which probably means something along the lines of he celebrated too much or said something stupid, or maybe he cussed on camera or something. So just slap him with the stop fine. This team is up its own ass. They have an issue. They have an issue being up its own ass. Jesus Christ. Like, why the fuck would they do that? You're going to suspend your number 1 goal. Imagine if the Ravens suspended Marlon Humphrey going into a week where they had to play Justin Jefferson. I'd scream. I'd be like, what are you doing? Jesus. Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know what they're thinking with that. I don't, is that going to discipline him? Like, just, I'm not sure what he did.
It got pulled up. I just pulled it up. I can't figure out what he did either. I think he was talking to the ref during the coin toss about something.
Yeah, he must have been talking. Okay, find him. Find him. Do not find him. You don't have to suspend him a game. If you suspend him a game over the stupid issue,
suspending him for? That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
I don't know. It's dumb. Jesus Christ. No, that's crazy. Yeah, like you're going against Justin Jefferson this week. What are you thinking?
I don't know what they're thinking. Speaking of Justin Jefferson, he had his first really, really good game back from injury against the Vikings. 6 receptions, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. So, prime Jettis.
Oh, dude. Oh my God. There was a catch last week against the Lions.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That was so good.
He was going off the whole game, but then he comes back into double coverage to steal the ball from two Lions defensive back. It's hard to describe it. It's hard to even like. He is so good.
He is.
He is so good.
Shout out to Detroit though, who slipped past Minnesota, and for the first time since what year was it again? 1993. The Detroit Lions have won their division. You know what was happening in 1993? The NFC North didn't exist. They were in the NFC Central.
Yeah.
Central. Now, this is I can't. I'm excited. I get to do this now. So big shout out to Nick Mullins, who is our first winner of our Josh Allen Dumbass Interception of the Week award. Woo!
It's the second. You already gave it to Josh Allen earlier for no reason.
No, hey, everyone's getting it this week. Nick Mullins, 22 of 36,
but they gotta get it anyway.
For 411 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, including the one that lost the game.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. It's a shame, man. The Vikings this year are just tragic to me, man. They deserve better than they've gotten, but they played so down to their competition, man. I don't even.
Here's my question for the Vikings. Ty Chandler has been a game breaker when you give him the ball. 8 carries for 17 yards and a touchdown. Really? Really?
It's more of a receiving back, man.
Yeah, but when they actually give him the ball to run, he's awesome. Here's the thing though, Detroit, this is something that we saw coming, and I know we all got a little concerned about the Lions midway through the season. And yeah, they had some yips they had to get through.
Well, yeah, they lacked that statement win, but then they got that statement win against the Broncos, I felt.
Yeah, and now I feel like this is going to be a whole nother team come playoff time. I don't know if they're going to get, because the playoffs are going to be tough. Detroit, the last time Detroit was in the playoffs as a home team was 1993. Again, they have not played a home playoff game ever at Ford Field. It was so long ago, they weren't even playing in Detroit. They were playing in Pontiac, Michigan in the Silverdome. Back during that weird period of history where sports teams decided to put their stadiums out in the middle of the boonies outside of their cities because, we can't integrate it with the city's architecture. Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, FedEx Field. I'm familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar too with the Cleveland Coliseum that the Cavs played in for years, being
that's right.
Yeah, being like 2 hours outside of the city. Like what? Shout Lions, though. Good job.
Yeah.
Moving on to the late games.
Ifeadi Melifonwu was, I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. Was Defensive Player of the Week this week for the NFC. 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 1 interception, 5 tackles. Unfortunately, he's wearing 6, so tough to look at him. But
oh my God, Noam's hatred of defensive players wearing single digits always is just
not just singles. I mean, AFC Defensive Player of the Week is Kyle Hamilton with 5 tackles, 3 pass defenses, and 2 interceptions, and he's a safety wearing 14.
Okay, I'll rapid fire the late games so we can get to the Christmas games because that's what we really want to talk about. First up, Buccaneers crushed the Jaguars. Tampa Bay is playing the best football out of any team this last month. They are
apologize. I was rude last week. I was very rude last week. As a matter of fact, I think I said something along the lines of, and this is what happened. I think this week they go against, and the NFC South has deceived you into thinking that the Bucs are a good team. But this is what happens when they go against an actual good team from the AFC, a real playoff team. And this is what happens. They whooped them 30-12. They annihilated the Jaguars.
Jacksonville
and showed them that the Buccaneers are for real this year.
Jacksonville is doing what the Titans did last year. They are a complete free fall. Trevor Lawrence is playing unhealthy. It's not good.
It's not good for them, but also the Tampa Bay side because they're a lot more exciting right now. We could put Baker Mayfield up there for another candidate for comeback player of the year for sure, man. His career was over. He was career backup, and now it's like, damn, you might want to extend this guy. I mean, you got to give him at least another year starter for sure. At least 1 more year starter, but you might want to extend him. Like he's been phenomenal.
He's been the best. He's playing the best football a Bucs quarterback has played since since Tom Brady. But excluding Tom Brady, he's playing the best football a Bucs quarterback has played since Josh Freeman. Honestly, I do not speak I do not speak of Jameis Winston. That's all I'm going to say. Also, since it is Saints week, here's your second fun fact of the week. Did you know that the Saints are the only dirty fuckers that swept the Bucks in our first Super Bowl year? Yeah. We don't forget that. We don't
Wait,
forget.
2002, you guys lost 2 games to the Saints.
Uh-huh. Did you know that the Saints hired a witch doctor to cast a curse on us before our game against them in New Orleans? Yeah. Did you know those fuckers did to us? Did you
I
guys
think
also know?
that's crazy.
Did you guys
That's
also
super
know
funny.
that?
You won the Super Bowl, but you couldn't beat the Saints.
Did you also know that the Saints
Wow.
the Saints ended the careers of some of the greatest players in NFL history all for like $20 out of all for $20 out of Greg Williams' wallet?
Okay, all right. Yeah, the Bounty
That
Gate
Super
thing.
Bowl should
Yes,
be
okay.
overturned. If we could overturn USC's championship for something way less worse, we could overturn the Saints Super Bowl for something that's much worse. Every time Jonathan Vilma is on screen, I want to throw something at the TV.
He was one of my favorite players growing up. Why did the NFC South during like the 2010s era have such good middle linebackers? Jonathan Vilma for the Saints, John Beeson for the Carolina Panthers. Don't forget Curtis Lofton for the Falcons, and then the Bucks had, this is after Derek Brooks. They might not have had anyone before Levante and after Derek Brooks. Y'all have anyone there?
I have
Maybe not.
no
Maybe not.
idea who we had.
But
That was a dark period
regardless,
for the Bucks.
it
If
was
I
a
can't
dark
remember
period.
it,
But
if I can't remember it, I don't
those
know.
are all solid players. Jonathan Vilma was especially good.
Yeah, it was a dirty cheap shot bastard.
He
He's the
was.
only player who got indefinitely suspended for Bounty Gate, and
Mhm.
the Players Association said you're being mean. Nah, ban him from the league. I don't care. We got a comment going on there. Somebody commented saying cute dog.
I agree. Very cute dog.
Yeah. I have one more fact for Saints Week, but we'll get to that later. Let's quickly talk about this one. I'm just going to gloss over. Bears take care of business against the Cardinals. Chicago has actually been looking pretty good the last couple of weeks, and they got the number 1 pick of the draft. I'm thinking we might see Chicago.
I think I actually took the Cardinals. Dumb.
We'll see Chicago. Chicago's going to take a big step forward next year. I can feel it because they've actually not been playing this bad this year. Ever since returning from injury, Justin Fields has actually been playing pretty solid. No one's paying attention.
They started terribly and have played really well lately, so we'll see how that goes.
I think they still have a chance to make the playoffs, but it's like a 1 in a million chance. But we've seen crazier. Dolphins, Cowboys, the matchup between two teams that can't beat good teams. We finally, the answer is clear. The Cowboys might not be a good team because the Dolphins beat them. Very good game. I was watching the Bucks game, so I missed this, but my parents on Christmas love to talk about this game. They're like, did you see how good it was? This was, hey, shout out to Miami getting the job done against the Cowboys. There's something about the Dolphins bringing out the 72 throwback uniforms that they always seem to play better. It's almost as if the ghosts of that 72 team are just guiding them forward.
Who did you take last week?
I think I took 40. I think took the Cowboys.
I think you both took the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took the. Actually, I know I took the Dolphins. At least I was right about one thing this week. Yeah, Dolphins prove that they are better than the Cowboys. We'll see if they are better than the Ravens.
And we will get to that with our game picks. The last game from Sunday Night Football, the Patriots best the Broncos on a game-winning field goal. 2 things to talk about for this game. First, did you see the clip of the Patriots kicker when he missed his first field goal? It hit the upright, and I guess they had a mic on the upright, and it sounded like an explosion from an old YouTube poop from back in the day. He just missed it. He hit it, and it literally went boom. It was like an explosion.
He had some
Also, apparently, Sean Payton has seen enough of our boy Danger Russ, because breaking news: Russell Wilson has been benched for Jarrett Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham's going to run the remaining two games out. The Broncos are 7-8. They're technically still in it, and frankly, if they were to make the playoffs, I actually think they could be all right with it because they've been decent. I think they're a lot better than the record shows. That being said, losing to this Patriots team is not a good sign. The Patriots, again, though, signs of life. I don't understand. But yeah, I don't know. Russell 238, 2 touchdowns. I got to watch the film to see. It could just be. I did see the announcement that Jared Stidham is going to start.
I don't get it.
The remaining 2 games. I don't understand really.
I don't get it at all. Jarrett Stidham. I mean, no, if it's Jarrett Stidham, but
he's nothing.
Russell Wilson's been having a great season. The Bills in total have been looking, not the Bills, the Broncos have been looking so much better than they did last year. It's such a breath of fresh air to see them actually be able to compete. And yeah, this loss to the Patriots was bad. I mean, yeah, they still are every so often they're still pulling out losses like allowing 70 points by the Dolphins or
That was
losing
earlier
to
in the year. They were not good at the beginning of the year. It's worth
yeah,
stating. They've since been a lot better.
and their playoff hopes are still there, but it's these last 2 weeks they've taken a huge hit, 2 straight losses. It's rough, but we could see them bounce back, I think. But I don't think they're good. I think they kind of I don't know. I don't know what Sean Payton's thinking here. I honestly don't care about the guy for obvious reasons. Did you know that he was in on Bounty Gate?
Gosh, yeah, I'm aware of that.
Happy Saints Week.
It never ends.
Oh, it won't. I have one more thing to say. We'll get there.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, Christmas Day games. What the fuck is going on with the Chiefs, man?
They're free fall organization and free fall right there.
Yeah,
the Raiders. I'm sorry, but yeah. By the way, my heart goes out to Miss Donsky. I'm sorry.
Mama Donsky was Mama Donsky had decided to put the blame on one T Sizzle, Taylor Swift. Sorry, T Swizzle. T Swizzle.
Thank you.
My mom decided that T Swizzle was to blame, and that
I don't know if Taylor Swift is to blame, but I will say that since the whole thing began, Kelsey has not necessarily been the same. I think you said that last week.
He has been horrible. And for me, what I've seen that's really annoyed me is that this game reminded me a lot of that Super Bowl loss. Patrick Mahomes was running for his life on every play. He was getting no protection. He could not get the ball away to his receivers. And the sad thing is, the Raiders played like shit. What's his name? Aiden O'Connell didn't throw a pass after the first quarter. He didn't complete a single pass. The Raiders only scored touchdown. The Raiders scored 2 touchdowns on defensive plays. If those don't happen,
by the way, got to give that Josh Allen over to Patrick Mahomes. We're not seeing that.
I know, man. Listen, the Raiders. And they talked to Antonio Pierce before the game. Antonio Pierce, by the way, he's got to stay for the Raiders. He is such a good coach. He gets the Raider mindset. They were talking about how he was talking about, listen, we're wearing the throwbacks to the 60s. This is our big rival. We got to go out there and play violent football. It's like, yes, this is what the Raiders need, baby. The Raiders have always been, okay, what's the politically correct term to say here? Because there's certain terms some people use to describe
assholes.
The assholes of the league.
They're assholes.
There are certain terms
nothing against them. They're assholes. No, they're great. Honestly, I like that about them.
It's because old NFL films, John Facenda would refer to them as these are the hoodlums of the NFL. It's like, well, I don't think we can really call them that anymore, but the Raiders have always been that team. The Raiders are the bullies of the league.
They were kind of dirty though back in the day.
John Madden.
Art Shell and Gene Upshaw were 2 of the most and Jamato were 3 of the most ruthless offensive linemen you will ever see. Right? Art Shell used to specifically try and just he would armor up his thumb and just jam it, jam it into people's chests while he was blocking them. And there's NFL films clips of him bragging about it all the time. And he's like, "Oh, I fucked him up," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
No, dude, the Mad Stork.
You won't give you don't like the Saints.
Lester Hayes, man. My favorite is Jack Tatum paralyzing a receiver in the preseason.
Oh, Jack Tatum! Wow, yeah.
The Raiders have always been assholes. That's their thing. Assholes. It all stems back because John Madden basically looked at all these crazy guys who was like, I'm just gonna call the plays. You guys do what you want. And it worked. They were one of the best teams of the 70s, and they developed this aura about them. It's like, these guys, it's the autumn wind. We don't give a shit. We're going to come out here and beat the crap out of you. And that is what the Raiders have been missing for years. That's why the move to Las Vegas never felt right. Because Las Vegas, Sin City, embrace the sin part of it. Be like, yeah, we're the Raiders. We're dirty. We're nasty. Not the Big Ben nasty, but, the good kind of nasty.
I remember that Gridiron Heights episode.
Shout out Gridiron Heights.
Nasty. Like no.
No, not that kind of nasty. Nah. No, I don't know what the Chiefs. The scary thing about this loss to the Chiefs, though, is that Kansas City could miss the playoffs because
they could
if they lose their last 2 games.
I'm now concerned for even if they make the playoffs, these issues now have carried over to where they've lost. They lost to some good teams, and it was there were some things you could say are pretty fluky and everything, but now that they've lost to the Raiders, man, now I am genuinely concerned, and it's like I'm more concerned. Before last week it was I had more faith in Andy Reid and Mahomes and what we've already seen from them in the past to not be overly concerned about the issues that were right in front of us. But now my concern has reached a point where I'm looking past that. I can't overlook the concern that I have now.
I'm going to come out with a hot take here.
What's up?
I'm going to say that the Chiefs lose their last 2 games, the Raiders win their last 2 games, and the Raiders win the division, and the Chiefs miss the playoffs.
Who are they playing?
The Chiefs play the Bengals and the Chargers. So,
this would have to be disgusting losses.
And hey,
they have it so easy. Their fate is in their hands. They cannot lose.
They're going to lose, though. They're going to lose because this was with how ugly this game was. Like, man, if they don't give up those 2 defensive touchdowns, they win 14-6, which is ugly, but it's a win and it clinches the division.
I agree, and I think if these were against any other team, I would honestly say, yeah, I'm more concerned, but I'm probably still going to take the Chiefs to win. When we get to our game picks, I think I will. We'll see. Probably. We'll see when we get there. But I mean, Bengals are working. The Raiders are playing at least. She's so cute. But Raiders are playing solid football at the very least.
Stop getting distracted by the dog. Now the Raiders are. I think the Raiders have the Colts and the Broncos left, which are 2 winnable games for them if they keep playing the way they are. Because Antonio Pierce has got them playing like the Raiders. They've got to keep it up.
Yeah. The Raiders are playing well, and they played well. Well, they played okay against the Chiefs, and they won the game. All right, they're better than the Bengals. So I think, moving forward, things might not be as bad as it seems for the Chiefs. And simply, they may be bailed out by their easy schedule, but when come playoff time, we'll see. If this team shows up in the playoffs, they're a first-round exit.
Yeah. I got 2 more games here. Giants, Eagles. It's safe to say that the Tommy DeVito train has derailed. It had to happen.
Rod Taylor announced the starter for Week 17.
It's a shame it had to happen. I'll give the Giants credit; they put up a great fight. It seemed like the refs were missing a lot of calls though, because there was some blatant pass interference that the Eagles got away with down the stretch. This was a much needed win for Philly, but it was also an ugly win because they should not have played this close to the Giants.
I completely agree. They should not have played this close to the Giants, but you guys you and 40 took the Giants to win. I said there's no way the Eagles will lose in Philadelphia, and they were fairly close. But I will say they still felt like the much better team here. It's just they're not. I don't know what's going. Maybe it's just their. I mean, you watch the Coleman video. Maybe it is just that offense just being just ridiculously just inside zone out of the shotgun, just completely predictable. Maybe that is it. I mean,
they called a couple
for 92 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts throws for 300 yards and a touchdown. And
they called a couple of outside zones and actually got some big chunk plays. It was like, wow,
maybe
what
they
happens?
finally adjusted. Woohoo.
Yeah.
I will say Brown, 6 for 80 yards. Devontae Smith.
The good news for the
Eagles.
The good news for the Eagles is that with this win, this moves them back into first place of the division over the Cowboys. So, my ass cheeks are unclenched as a Buck fan because I don't want to have to face the Eagles in the first round. I'd much rather face the Cowboys.
I gotta mention this simply because, and I agree with that. I would also rather play the Cowboys. I think despite the loss of them, I actually think the Eagles are better than the Cowboys. I just think they were in free fall, and hopefully this got them back on track, even though it's not necessarily the most convincing win. They should have annihilated the Giants if they didn't. Despite that, just because Kylie was texting me this, I want to shout her out because she said she had the greatest Christmas of all time. Okay, she said the Chiefs lost. She hates the Chiefs. The 49ers got annihilated. And the Eagles won. And the Cowboys lost too. She's had an incredible week.
Merry Christmas, Kylie.
Yeah. Every other team in the East lost.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Philly fans know how to celebrate. By the way, speaking of the Niners, let's talk about the game that we want to talk about. And I'm just going to put this up for the duration of this one because
it should be that, or it should be as long as 8's on the field.
As long as 8's on the field. Oh, man.
So because 40's not here.
We had the game.
One with you, 40.
We had the big game of the year. Number 1, number 2, the 2 best teams in the NFL. And this game, I think this was probably the best game I've watched all season. I know it ended kind of lopsided.
Gosh.
It kind of ended lopsided. But
it ended less lopsided than it could have. For the majority of the game, this is 33-12.
Yeah. Hey, that first half was fucking incredible. Big plays, but both teams with big plays. I was like, this is football right here. And then the Ravens were just like, what if we started stunting on these hoes? That's exactly what happened. Baltimore just proved this was the ultimate statement win. You go into
Oh
hostile
my
territory
goodness.
against against the best team in the NFL, and you
A
whoop
team
them.
in their own caliber, by the way, said
Yeah,
by me. And I'm that I took the Ravens. So this shocked me. This shocked me as a huge Ravens fan. I was just like, oh my goodness,
it.
this was incredible. Lamar Jackson. Okay, I mean, well, let's talk about the Ravens defense, I guess, because they're the
No,
real heroes
we
here.
can talk.
But
Yeah, the Ravens defense. I mean, the Ravens defense forced 4 interceptions. They shut down Brock Purdy. Actually injured him, injured him too. So I think he is starting this week, but that's just
he
something to
wasn't
keep an
touched
eye on.
on that injury. I don't know what happened with him. He actually wasn't. I
It's a
don't think he was
stinger.
touched.
It's a
Yeah,
stinger he got, but they just had one goal, like shut down Brock Purdy and whoop his ass, and they did. Went 18 of 32 for 255 and 4 interceptions. My God.
I watched this game. I was at a Christmas party, and it was just I was utterly distracted by this game. It was just incredible to see the Ravens. I don't even know where to start. My guys, the Ravens are the best team in the league. They have cemented themselves that because they were, in my opinion, they were the second best team in the league. They were better than the Eagles. They're better than the Cowboys. And if you need more evidence of that, let's just say this: the Giants put up more of a fight against the Eagles than the 49ers did against the Ravens. That shows the gap right there. In case for those friends of us as the Fire Sports Network, I'm just when the Eagles are great, the Ravens are better. The Ravens are the best team in the league. The 49ers, I would still consider probably second, but man, there is a gap because they annihilated everyone else. They went on that 3-game losing streak, and it just seemed like they were never going to lose again. I mean, annihilating good teams, 40-3 over the Cowboys, 42-17 over the Eagles, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, they kicked the shit out of Philly.
They
Did what
annihilated the Eagles. Now I knew they wouldn't have the same problem, but I knew the Ravens wouldn't have the same issue because Shanahan's scheme is his whole play action style of stuff. I knew that our linebackers are significantly better than Philly's. Philly's, since losing TJ Edwards, who was just a tremendously smart player, they subbed in. They had a couple people in there, mostly run defending guys. Their greatest pass defending linebacker, unless I'm forgetting a name, is Nick Morrow, and he just. I mean, you have Debo and Samuel and Brandon Ayuk running over the middle of the field. What the fuck is he supposed to do? Well, we have Roquan and Patrick Queen. And Patrick Queen, but with Roquan there, Patrick Queen looks like a top 10 linebacker. Because Roquan is maybe at 1, And God, this defense did so well. Just Sam Darnold was on the sideline, but Brock Purdy was seeing ghosts on the field, man. I'm telling you, like he was throwing everything. The first ones was just, there were not 4. I'm a little hard on him. There were not 4 dumbass interceptions this week by Brock Purdy. Okay, there was like 1 or 2. The rest were tipped passes. He was following the Shanahan scheme and throwing low over the line of scrimmage. I mean, Lamar had a couple that were batted down too because Lamar used to throw sidearms, but we just were in the right place at the right time. There was almost a 5th when Brandon Stevens got his hands on that. Oh my gosh, Purdy was not on his game tonight. He just could. They could not figure out the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense, incredible. Jadeveon Clowney, man. Why has he turned into this just on third down for some reason? He has just turned into this phenomenal pass rusher. He's just so good on third downs all of a sudden. Like he just creates pressures and gets a whole bunch of sacks. I mean, it seemed like every third down in the fourth quarter, he was coming up with a play to stop. He was phenomenal. But obviously, we need to talk about, Christian McCaffrey, another incredible game. Ayuk did really well. Sam Darnold came in here in the last drive of the game for the Niners and honestly picked apart the Ravens defense. He did really well, So that is something. I mean, shout out Sam Darnold, I suppose, but my God, top to bottom destruction from the Ravens. They were up by 3 touchdowns for the majority of the game. Lamar Jackson is the MVP of this football league. He just proved it right here and now.
Yeah, he is. I've never seen him play that good in my life. I think there was at one point where every pass he was throwing was connecting. He was just not missing. It was wonderful to see. I gotta be honest. I thought the Niners were gonna whip the shit out of them, like Mike Florio. I thought they were gonna get the shit kicked in, and they did not.
I was worried they would lose, and I was just hoping they would put up a fight. I underestimated them because I mean, no offense, but there's a gap between the Rams and the Niners, and they didn't play. It goes to show you any given Sunday, but they didn't play overly well against the Rams in Baltimore. Now you're going to San Francisco to play the best team in the league, who has just crushed every good team. And I'm just hoping, just hang in. I will be happy if we get out of here with a 7-point loss. Genuinely, I would have been happy. Instead, we got a 14-point win.
Yeah. I beat the crap. You beat the crap out of them. You gave San Francisco
out of the San Francisco 49ers.
I've never been more proud of the Ravens.
Me neither.
Now I'll say this: I still think this is going to be a preview of the Super Bowl, but I think if they meet again in the Super Bowl, it'll be a lot closer. But
I think so too. I think things will be different. You never know how things will go down in the playoffs. This does not mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. They got to keep this fire, keep this play level of play going. They need to do this.
Oh yeah,
the next 6 weeks. You know.
Yeah, there's six. It's crazy to think we only got 2 weeks left of the regular season. It's crazy. Let's take a quick look at the playoff standings before we get into our game picks. In the AFC, Baltimore and Miami have clinched. Jets, Titans, Chargers, Patriots.
Did the Ravens only clinch this week?
Yes.
Did you that just show you how good the AFC is right there? Because the Ravens have been on a streak.
Yeah. Jets, Titans, Chargers, and Patriots are all out at the moment. They are out. Teams are Chiefs, Jags, Browns. Right now, the playoff matchups would be Baltimore, first round bye. Wild card matches would be Indianapolis at Miami, Buffalo at Kansas City, and Cleveland at Jacksonville. Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati are still in the hunt and could easily swap places with Indianapolis over the next 2 weeks. Raiders and Broncos kind of need a miracle to happen, and that miracle is mainly the Chiefs falling apart, which could happen. In the NFC, San Francisco would be the 1 seed. First round matchups would be Seattle at Philly, Los Angeles at Detroit, and Dallas at Tampa Bay. Minnesota, Atlanta, Green Bay, and that team from New Orleans are all still in the hunt with losing records. Chicago is also somehow still in the hunt, but they're probably getting eliminated. They need everything to go right for them. Giants, Washington, Arizona, and Carolina have all been eliminated. On to the game picks. Week 17. Every game has some meaning. First up, Thursday Night Football. Jets versus Browns. Cleveland trying to clinch their second playoff spot of the decade. Jets trying to spoil the party. If they win, they are in. They would be the first wild card team in.
Okay, they're winning clinch. They're winning in. All right. Damn, I don't know who I want to win here. Frankly, I mean, normally I'd be so against Cleveland, but Flacco, man, I'm gonna take the Browns regardless, man. The Browns are brutes. The Browns have their defense isn't what it used to be this season. Frankly, they're no longer the best defense in the league. But they're still really good. They have a level of defense similar to the Jets and an offense that's clicking on all cylinders. Give me the Browns.
I'm gonna take the Browns too.
We should have asked for your game picks, man.
We should have. Well, we'll get them eventually. I'd take Cleveland too. Joe Flacco's been playing out of his mind. There's no stopping. I don't think the Jets defense is good, but I don't think they have anybody who could stop Flacco. Saturday night football. Lions taking on the Cowboys. Big game here. Potential playoff matchup between these two squads. Look, man, the Cowboys can't beat good teams. Give me Detroit.
Detroit has to prove that they're real because they've also struggled to beat some good teams. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. They've had a much easier schedule than the Cowboys have. The Cowboys are definitely more talented, but it's never mattered for them. Give me Detroit, man. Give me Detroit. I don't trust the Cowboys, man. I can't trust them.
Sunday, early games, full slate on New Year's Eve. We start off with the big game of the week, a game that should have been flexed to Sunday night, but wasn't because the NFL is stupid and wants us to watch two teams with losing records play. Dolphins-Ravens. Why is this game not in prime time? I will never know.
I have no idea. You have like the two top seeds in the AFC, right?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say, because 40's not here. Who wants to say it?
Let me say it.
Yeah, you say it.
As long as 80's on the field, they have a chance. That's the line, but what really is as long as 8's on the field, the Ravens are going to win, bro. That's the fucking line of the season. At least it's this season. I hope, man. As long as 8's on the field, there's a shot. The Ravens are clicking on all cylinders. Dolphins playing good team. They beat a very had a convincing win over the Cowboys. Didn't blow them out, but had a win over a very good team. I think the Ravens are a little more battle tested than the Dolphins. I would hope that the Ravens put up. I think they should win this game it shouldn't be much. It shouldn't be harder than San Francisco.
Hey,
Shout out to our future editor.
let's go Ravens, baby. I'm going to take
Yeah.
Baltimore with this one too.
Oh.
An AFC East rivalry game, Patriots taking on the Bills.
Wants
Buffalo's.
the Bears to win.
There you go. Give me Buffalo for this one. I don't really see the Patriots having a
Sorry,
good
but I
chance.
was focusing on how good the Ravens are.
Bills, Patriots.
Oh yeah, so the Patriots they've been fighting a little more. Like they've been feisty lately, showing signs of life. The Bills, if the Ravens, I'm sorry, she got me distracted. If the Patriots somehow lose, damn it, if the Bills, she got me so distracted. If the Bills somehow lose, it's on them. The Bills, up and down. Patriots. I'm gonna take the Bills because they should win.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
Distracted.
I'm getting distracted by your dog. I can't believe I'm saying this. A crucial clash between these two teams who desperately need a win to stay in the playoff hunt somehow. Falcons, Bears. You know what? Give me Chicago. Justin Fields has been playing really good recently. The Bears have actually been looking decent. They need a lot of things to go their way to get into the playoffs, and I don't see that really happening for them, but I do see them beating the Falcons.
Falcons, Bears.
Yeah.
Can't trust the Falcons, despite the fact that they just whooped a team who I think would be. I think the Colts, or at least I would have thought last week, the Colts are better than the Bears. Falcons crushed them. The Bears have been playing really well. Can't trust the Falcons. Even with this win, I can't trust the Falcons. Give me the Bears, man.
Good man. Raiders, Colts, crucial game between these two teams for playoff seeding. Look, I said it. I think the Chiefs are in free. I think the Raiders are going to win the division. So give me yeah, fuck it. Give me Oakland. They're not Vegas. Give me Oakland.
They are Vegas, and I'm kind of hoping. I am kind of hoping.
I see that.
Put it up. I am kind of hoping that
we do miss Ray Lewis.
I
was watching America's game for the
Ray's. You can't really see it because my lighting sucks, but it's Ray's last ride.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my sisters got me this shirt.
I was watching the America's game from the 2000 Ravens, man. Ray Lewis is he's so inspirational.
I know. He can say anything and I'll be like, it's true. Anyway, for the what you were talking about, Falcons, Bears, we said that already. You said
Raiders, Colts. Raiders, Colts.
Thank you. Yeah, for the Colts, Colts have been, Raiders have been winning. Colts have not. The Colts should be better than the Colts should be better than the Raiders. Give me the Raiders. I want the Raiders to win out. Give me the Raiders.
All right. Panthers versus Jags. Battle of the cat teams. You know what? The Jags are starting to scare me. Are starting to scare me like they're looking a lot like last year's Titans. Guess what? I'm going to pull trap game. Panthers win. Trap game.
If they win, are you going to make your Night Panther song?
Oh my! Yeah. That is an inside joke that the podcast. So
they can find out next week. They can find out next week.
Let's just
you're taking the Panthers, right?
Yeah, I think the Panthers have actually been playing pretty solid the last couple of weeks, and Jacksonville
the Jags have
like
not.
Shit. Trevor Lawrence is playing hurt, and if you ask me, this is a trap game. Panthers are going to pull a upset here.
Yeah, I want that to happen so badly, but I can't have faith in the fucking Panthers, man. Give me the Jags.
Another crucial AFC South game, Texans, Titans. I don't know. Texans have looked really suspect last couple of weeks. Titans have got nothing to play for, but it would be sweet to knock out their arch rival and make their playoff hopes just a little bit slower. I'm going to take Tennessee to get the upset here. It all depends, though. If CJ Stroud starts, yeah, Texans are winning. But if it's either if it's Davis Mills or Case Keenum starting, it's going to be Tennessee winning.
I kind of agree with you completely, actually. Like, I think that's exactly the case. I think if it's anyone but Stroud starting, the Texans probably lose. Tennessee Titans can go to hell.
Someone's bitter.
Texans.
I'll
never forgive them. I will never forgive the Titans.
Yeah. Wrapping up the early game. Oh, there's still more early games. My bad. Rams Giants. New York's got
Oh my
nothing to
gosh.
play for. Give me Rams.
This comes from Sam Monson from PFF. He says Aaron Donald is having the quietest defensive player of the year level season in the league. He says that Aaron Donald has 17 more pressures than any other interior rusher in the game. 17 more. That's crazy, right? Because, each pressure could turn into a sack.
Yeah.
Like a good season is like 40, 50 pressures from the year. He has 17 more than any other interior defensive lineman. And he's still getting treated like Aaron Donald. So he's getting double/triple teamed. It just doesn't matter. He is the best player. I'm so lucky I get to see Aaron Donald play live in my lifetime. He is the best player to play in my lifetime. I want to say that Aaron Donald is the best player to ever play in our lifetime. That has nothing to do with their game. They're against. Well, I guess the only connection here is the Giants have Dexter Lawrence, who is also having a defensive player of the year level year as an interior defensive lineman. He's also very good. But that shows the gap, and I think there's a even larger gap between the two teams. I think the Rams are going to take the Giants to church or whatever the saying is.
Take the trash out. I
one.
turn my camera off so I could stretch because I just realized I've been in a seated position for an hour and a half.
You should stretch on camera.
My
You should stretch on camera like I can. Show
no one needs to see. No one needs to see my big ass doing that.
Instead, we'll just hear the weird noises and wonder.
Weird Isaac sketches.
Weird eyes. Yeah, you see.
Cardinals. Give me Cardinals. Eagles. Battle of the Birds.
Eagles should take care of business here. The Eagles are a significantly better team than the Cardinals, even though Kyler Murray comes in here and being shorter than me plays quarterback and gives them life. They still haven't been winning with him, even with the life that he's been giving them. So now give me the Eagles. Eagles are a much better team. They should take care of business against the Cardinals. Don't let me down, Eagles. Stop letting me down.
Eagles. Eagles.
I don't think it's that's pronounced.
All right. It's Saints week. Saints Bucks battle for first place in the NFC South. If the Bucks win, they clinch the division. If they lose, it'll be a tie with the Saints, and it'll come down to other games. Boy, there's some of my favorite moments in NFL history are Gnome. You know what some of my favorite moments in NFL history are? Let's see. We got the Beast Quake, the Minneapolis Miracle, and the NOLA no call. That was fun.
The NOLA no call. It's the NOLA no call, Isaac.
The NOLA no call when Nickel Roby Coleman, decided to kill a receiver and no flag. That was beautiful, Or Drew Brees' final
Saints. Oh my God.
Drew Brees' final game. And
you
Hurricane
are such
Katrina.
A hater. Drew Brees is such a great guy. Dude. No, you're the Saints got done. Or let's just remind everyone how the Saints just year after year of just tragedy, okay? 2017 Minneapolis Miracle. Stephon Diggs pushes it over future Raven. Marcus Williams takes it to the end zone with the last play of the game as they were down by 3 points.
Wait. Don't start in 2017. Don't start 2017. Start in 2010. 2010. Beastquake. Oh, it's beautiful. 2011. The Catch Part 3. Oh, it's beautiful. 2012. Get exposed for Bountygate and have to lose your head coach and a bunch of your star players and miss the playoffs. Oh, it's beautiful. 2013. Get Legion of Boomed. Oh my God, this is better than sex. Miss the playoffs every year from 2014 to 2016 because your defense is the worst of the league. 2017. Minneapolis Miracles.
On the part of my screen that's farthest away from yours.
2018, the NOLA no call. 2019, Viking again.
No. The NOLA no call deserves a rewind, okay? Nicole, that is the most egregious case of pass interference I have ever seen in my life. He hit him. He knocked him out of the air before the ball even got there. The refs don't throw the flag for defensive pass interference. Rams go on to get annihilated in the Super Bowl. The Saints would have won that shit. Don't even lie. The Saints would have won the Super Bowl if they.
I don't give a rat's ass, man. And then it was the Saints. They probably deserved it.
Later in overtime, Drew Brees. Was it Fowler? Was it Ngakoue? It was Dante Fowler. Dante Fowler hands to Brees' face. One of the most egregious cases of roughing the passer, especially that year when they changed the rules. Not called after he gets his just shoved backwards. Holy crap! Not called again. The next year, they play the Vikings, correct?
The what?
The Vikings next year, 2019.
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Vikings again. I'm pretty sure Kyle Rudolph pushes off in the end zone. Offensive pass interference this time doesn't get called. Vikings win. Another tragic loss for the Saints when they are third year in a row playing phenomenally. Just tragedy. I'm not saying whether or not they deserve to beat the Bucks this week. I don't think they will. I'm taking the Bucks to win because the Bucks have proven it and the Saints have not. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. You don't feel nothing for the Saints fans, man. You don't feel nothing for the Saints.
No, their city can sink into the bayou for all I care. Go Bucks.
It was dumb of me to ask you that on Saints week, anyways. Turn the camera back on.
The Hurricanes didn't go far enough.
Huh?
No, whoa! I take that back. I take that back. That was too much. Oh,
Did
yeah.
you really just say Katrina didn't go far enough?
No, not Katrina. That was terrible. That's the one time I felt bad for the city of New Orleans. I'm talking about the minor ones that hit there all the time.
The minor one. I swear they fucking do this. You can't trust a word Isaac says on Saints week, man. He is lethal.
Did you know that the Saints Did you know the Saints spent 20 years in the NFL's basement before doing anything notable? I did. All right, yeah. You taking the Bucks, right?
Do not put that up. From the team that brought you. What is it? What did you guys start? 0-28 to start?
From the team that brought you 0-26. It's the bitterest rivalry in the NFC South.
Trash. Whatever.
All right.
I wish I could play that soundbite.
49ers Commanders. Who you got?
Niners, obviously, they're not going to lose to two of the local teams. They got annihilated by the Ravens because the Ravens are the best team in the National Football League, and the 49ers are not. But they are still the second best team, and the Washington Commanders are hovering in that 25 to 32 range. So this should be taking care of business. But if the Niners lose somehow, if they somehow lose, we got something to talk about.
Steelers Seahawks, crucial game for playoff seeding. Yes, give me Seattle. Oh man, there we go. See, that's his version of Saints week. That hatred.
But I have it every week. We're not playing the Steelers this week, but we will be playing them soon. Fuck the Steelers. I have it. I try and remain as unbiased as I can. I never succeed, but to be honest, speaking objectively, I think the Seahawks are a much better team than the Steelers are.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. I know they annihilated the Bengals, but it's the Bengals without Joe Burrow. Whether Drew Lock or Geno Witt plays, they should be the Steelers.
Steelers trash.
Yeah, boo. We don't like them. I know.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bengals Chiefs, AFC Championship game rematch. Give me Cincinnati. Chiefs are in free fall.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Jake Brown.
Yeah.
Could not beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
But they're going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Damn, he thinks the Chiefs are in free fall.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I know exactly.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. No, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay, the Chiefs are in free fall. They are doing bad, but the Bengals, man. Come on,
it could happen.
You're taking the Bengals for sure.
I've lost faith in the Chiefs, man.
I have lost faith in the Chiefs too. I no longer think they're Super Bowl bound. Matter of fact, they're in that playoff contender kind of range. But you know who's not in that fucking range?
Oh, Cincinnati's not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs, but they will destroy the Chiefs' playoff hopes.
No, I'm talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are in that range where they're no longer a Super Bowl team, and they're the contender. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, but the Bengals are not. Give me the Chiefs. That being said, if the Chiefs lose this one, they deserve to not make the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
This is your team you're talking about.
My team's the Bucks, bro. What are you talking about?
Mama Donsky didn't raise him, right?
Chargers Broncos.
I see. If it was, I would say Broncos because the Chargers are
not anymore.
But they fired Staley, and now Jarrett Stidham is starting for the Broncos. I have no fucking clue.
I'm gonna take the Chargers to get a win here.
I feel like I should also take the Chargers. And be honest, I'm gonna take the Chargers too.
Yeah. Wrapping up this week, Packers Vikings.
Weird fucking team the Chargers are.
Packers Vikings, the final game of the calendar year of 2023. Packers Vikings. Why is it not Ravens Dolphins?
I have no idea why it's not Ravens. You know how much fun it would be to watch Ravens Dolphins over this on Sunday night?
Give me the Packers, man.
On December 31st.
Yeah.
Packers Vikings really over the Ravens and Dolphins.
Hey,
who can even win?
I'm taking the Packers.
You taking the Packers to win? Explain that to me.
I don't trust the Vikings. especially with Nick Mullins as quarterback. But at the same time, Justin Jefferson is about to light up their defense.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Okay.
I didn't take that into
Jordan Love,
consideration.
phenomenal. Yeah, the Packers are probably the better team here, and I don't trust Nick Mullins at all. But Justin Jefferson is going against Joe Barry defense that the Packers have without their best corner, without Jaire Alexander, who got suspended because he talked to the ref during the coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
God, the no fun league. Holy shit! Like, huh? They're out of their fucking minds, dude.
They are. Give me the Vikings. And quick bonus.
Give me the Vikings too.
Quick bonus picks: college football playoff games on January 1st. No, very quick. Rose Bowl, Alabama, Michigan.
Alabama.
Bama, roll Tide. I don't give a piss about nothing but Tide. Sugar Bowl, Texas, Washington.
Texas.
Nah, man. Go Pac-12. Washington.
It's important that Washington wins this.
And the real national championship game, Georgia, Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
Georgia.
Florida State. Let's do it. Let's go. The actual national championship, Florida State. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the final episode of Beer Battered Sports for 2023. This technically is our season finale. We will be back. What about the Towson Tigers? Roar. Hail Towson. They had a bad year, I heard. Remember, this podcast right there. Remember, this podcast is a proud affiliate of the Fired Up Sports Network. Go check out all the other podcasts. Support us on all of our socials at @bbsports_pod and check out our Twitter bio for merch. Remember, we might have new merch coming out soon. We're working on that. We're definitely working on that, but we do have our hoodies our BBS hoodies available. Go get you one. They are a perfect post-holiday gift. With that being said, we will see you guys next year. Peace. I forget to pull up the outro video. Here we go. Peace.
We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.